Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live. Especially them because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put your community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you for joining us tonight. How's everybody? Hello there, Miss Dr. Vanessa. How you doing?
Hey, how are you? Happy New Year's, Lottie.
And Happy New Year to you. Did you have a good holiday? Did you have a great holiday?
I sure did. I just came back from California the day before yesterday.
Okay, all right. So you was out there with the Callies, hanging out for New Year's, or what? Did you make it back home?
Yes, I was. I made it back home, though. I'm back.
Oh, well, you know what? I found it to be a quiet New Year's. I was surprised. I expected more noise from people on the street and stuff, but it was quiet. I guess that's a good sign for the new year. Hopefully, I hope.
Absolutely.
It is. Well,
absolutely.
Well, hello there, Giselle. Thanks for joining us. Listen, I have a guest tonight. I can't wait to talk to her because she's gonna tell us about how we focus on ourselves for the new year, because we make all these resolutions that we never stick to or whatever. So we want to stop all these resolutions and do things that we know we can do for ourselves, and that she can help us deal with people who carry things over to the next year where they should have left them in the year before, so we can change things. So let's introduce our guest for tonight.
Yes, our guest tonight is Miss Charmin Ajjan. She's the CEO for Charmin Ajjan Psychotherapy. And welcome to the show. Welcome my guest to the show.
Hello. How are you?
Happy New Year, you guys.
Yes. Happy New Year to you.
So you were in California. That's where I'm from.
Oh, yeah. Proud. I was just a little south of LA.
Okay. Oh, I haven't been home in so long.
No, you got to come back.
I'm feeling homesick.
Okay, let us know when you want to go, so this way we can go with you. Okay, no,
let's do it. Road trip.
Yes.
Oh yeah, girls road trip. Yeah. Oh, I am so happy that you coming on tonight.
Yes,
I definitely need a little therapy. Going into the new year.
Well, I'm happy I'm here too, because you guys are always so much fun.
Don't be laughing, Vanessa. You need some therapy too. So
we all need therapy.
We all need therapy.
We all need therapy.
Oh, so you had an article talking about focusing on you for the new year, and about changing our to-do lists and stuff. Like, I mean, I know we all make these resolutions where we know we don't keep and know we can't keep. So I would like to concentrate on how do we become better people, and how do we look at our self-worth and make us want to do better things for the upcoming new year, so we can leave the other stuff that we used to do in 23. How would you say that we need to begin the new year?
Well, we definitely need to throw out resolutions. It's crazy, right? We do this every year to ourselves. Every year we set resolutions, and then we have the marker so high, and then we fall short, and then we feel awful about ourselves, and then we're on a bad start to the new year. Let's get rid of the resolutions. It's like a premeditated way of putting yourself down. It's so crazy. It's a tradition that we do over and over and over again, and it doesn't work. We know that it doesn't work. It's proven not to work. But what can work is focusing more on, well, first of all, we don't have to do it at the beginning of the year. We can make changes at any time in the year. There's a lot of pressure if we're going to have this marker at the beginning of the year. But we can decide, instead of doing, and being so focused on accomplishing things, on reaching these goals or being task oriented, instead we can focus on things that are more important, like how we're showing up in the world, how we are taking care of ourselves, how we are spreading more love, the things that are really important that help to increase our self-worth, our value, the way that we actually feel about ourselves. I think that is a much healthier way of approaching the new year.
Do you think sometimes I feel like even when you're trying to do better, you're trying to do things differently. I guess it's the individual person. Sometimes people just do things to get to you. So it kind of throws you off track sometimes, and you have to get back on track, because when you're dealing with people who walk around carrying grudges, they do things to you and claim they're not doing anything, mischievous, or, like you're trying to deal with those people. So it kind of throws you off a little bit because you don't want to become mean-spirited yourself.
The gaslighters. You're talking about the folks who gaslight you.
Yes, those people.
The folks who are clearly doing something to you and then make you feel crazy for bringing it up like it's not true. Yes, those people.
Oh yeah, they're good for that. They're so that's why I say sometimes I have to say, am I living in the twilight zone? Because they try to act like that they're not doing what you tell them they're doing.
Right.
And you don't want to become like them, because that's not you. That's not who you are. Your purpose, what your purpose is, and you want to, stay within the limits of what your purpose is and stuff like that. Right. So, because I don't like for people that make me do things that I don't want to do. Right. That I know that that's not me, and I don't say that, but I will say it because you have made me angry.
Right.
But I think sometimes too. Right. I think sometimes too is that a lot of people need to focus on self-care, right? There's so many people focusing on what they need to do and how they should do it. But if they focus on self-care, it gives you less of a recourse to keep focused on everybody else. And people need to learn how to set boundaries. Sometimes feel like you said, like, you don't want to hurt people's feelings, and you say things and want to be doing the right thing. But when is the cutoff? Okay, when is your cutoff? What is when and how can you set boundaries?
Well, I think when you're dealing with somebody who is not honest, who's manipulative, and who presses your button, you definitely need to know what your boundaries are. You have to be very clear about what is negotiable and what is non-negotiable, what is okay for you and what is not okay for you. Now, you can't get that other person to change. You can't force the other person to start being more forthcoming and honest. But what you can do is let them know. You can either set a boundary with them or set it for yourself. You can let them know that when this happens, it makes me feel this way. And if it happens again, this is what I'm going to do. And then you can live that truth, right? You can't just set a boundary and then not follow through with it. You have to follow through with the boundary, and you have to make sure that you enforce it and reinforce it. Sometimes people don't even know that they're being this way. Sometimes it's habitual and it's not their intention. You can give people the benefit of the doubt and you can try to reinforce it. But at some point, you're going to see a person's true colors, and it's up to you to be clear about what the expectations are of dealing with a person like that. You can't expect somebody to change when they keep showing you over and over and over again who they are. So they really are clear about what your boundaries and how you're going to handle interactions with that person, what your limitations are.
But what would be some of the things that you think that we really need to really concentrate on? Because, because dealing with people, some people are just not going to change, like you said. And, next day, you'll be in a slapping match or whatever. And you don't want to get into that. So, and you still got to deal with them. So, like you said, I'd rather just concentrate on myself. Like, what is some of the things, besides what it is that we want, that we really need to focus on? Particular women.
Well, I think sometimes you get caught up, right? You get caught up in being right or being heard or validated by somebody. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be healthy? Do you want to engage in an argument with somebody and win a fight, or do you want to figure out how to remove yourself from the situation and take care of yourself, cope with whatever feelings are coming up? If you're being triggered by this person, it's not worth it to engage in conflict over and over and over again, even if you're right. So figuring out how you can take care of yourself in that moment, figuring out what your limitations are and pulling yourself back and taking care of yourself, figuring out how to calm yourself down, figuring out who your supports are, who you can go to and talk to and help to process whatever it is that you're doing with this person. And then possibly limit your interactions with this person. That's not always possible, but if somebody is triggering you over and over and over again, sometimes it's time to cut the relationship off. You don't need to have interactions with somebody who is repeatedly crossing your boundaries.
Well, see, I'm so glad I don't get hung up into the conflict stuff. I can't tolerate that anyway. So I don't get hung up in that. I say what I have to say, and then I just keep it moving. That's how I am. You know, people think, oh, you're too forceful, you're too aggressive, you too this. No, I say what I have to say, and I'm gonna keep it moving because I'm not going to stand there repeating myself with someone and in constant, like you said, in some kind of constant conflict with someone. That's not what I'm interested in anyway. I'm more interested in making myself a better person. I mean, I don't even make a resolution this year or whatever. I just said that I just wanted to be a better person and try to get healthy. I wasn't even gonna make no resolution about losing weight because I always do that every year, and then I end up at the same weight when the next year come in January. So nothing happens in the whole year. So
It's a tradition.
I don't even put that one on the table anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like now, how do I just try to learn how to eat healthy? I usually don't get in no stressful situation because, like I said, I don't walk around holding anything in. I get it off my chest then and there. You might not like it, all well and good. I'm sleeping at night, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not worried about what I'm gonna say to you the next day and all that kind of nonsense and stuff like that.
Well, so that's what you're doing is changing the focus from them
to you.
yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important. A lot of us don't do that. We're so focused on the other person and what they said and how they're feeling and why they're not understanding you and how dare they and can't believe they said this to me. And you're not focused on yourself. You're not focused on your own well-being and what's important to you or what's good for you. And so, being able to pull back from that, being able to understand what your triggers are.
Yes.
Being able to understand how to respond to those unpleasant emotions, the ones that come out. And I think another thing that's so important is giving yourself the space to be able to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Just because you know this person is wrong and then you leave and you're dealing with the uncomfortable emotion doesn't mean that you don't get a chance to feel it and process it. We're so used to going for that, the other end of the spectrum, the joy, the happiness, the excitement, all of those like really positive emotions. And we're so used to trying to push away all the unpleasant ones. But what happens? Feelings want to be felt. And so if you don't allow yourself the space to feel, it comes out in all kinds of crazy, uncontrollable ways. And you
hold that thought. We're gonna take a quick break. We come back and we're gonna let you finish telling us how to get ourselves together. We're gonna be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
We're back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about focusing on ourselves for the new year. And before we went to break, Charmin was telling us, how we should work on ourselves and our self-worth. So what was you saying before we went to break?
I don't know. It was all riled up. So you was
So I wanted to add on to something that you were saying, that sometimes when people get themselves caught up in these situations, they should not expect someone to change. Sometimes people hang around, they can keep the arguing, the stresses, and all those with expectation that somebody will change. So sometimes people have to kind of like decide if they're going to focus or keep looking for change or focus on changing themselves.
Right. Well, yeah, and it's a losing battle, right? If you're thinking that you can change somebody else, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. You just can't.
Exactly. People ain't gonna change themselves because remember now, they're not wrong.
Well, this particular personality, yes, they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
But psychologically, you want that hopeful. It's just like a bad marriage or relationship. Things go on, you fight, you think it's going to get better. Next, you know, you invested 5 years, you invested 10 years, and you're still there like from day one.
Right.
So when does this reality come to say like, okay, this is something you just have to kind of like walk away from? When is the time you really just have to walk away and let it go?
I think as soon as the earlier the better, right?
Yes.
And I think there's something that happens inside of your body. Now, in this Western world that we live in, we're so focused on our thoughts, right? And we let our thoughts lead us. They control us. They drive us. But we're not paying attention to what's happening in our bodies. Mm-hmm. And so when you can start to recognize, oh, my jaw is clenched. Oh, my fists are tight. Oh, my shoulders are hiked up. I got that feeling in my stomach. My stomach is messed up right now. When you can start to notice patterns in the way that your body is reacting to a situation, you can intervene in that way too. Wait a minute. This is that feeling I get when I'm dealing with that certain kind of personality. When I start trying to change people, change the way somebody is thinking, and spend all of this time, this time, and I waste it, and I leave feeling more frustrated, more anxious, more angry, more agitated.
Yes. Do you think that has something to do with self-esteem?
What was that?
Do you think that has something to do with self-esteem?
Sometimes possibly, but I
know, but like you were saying, you keep staying and you keep staying and you keep staying, thinking something's going to. To me, that's something to do with your self-esteem. Like,
well, it all depends. It all depends.
You have to stay in that position that you're not worthy, that you should be happy.
But I mean, I don't go on the situation, right? If we're talking about somebody like a relationship that you're in, and someone's putting you down all the time, and
but it may not always be that they're not worthy. It may be they're there as an enabler. So people are in a relationship.
I said you not worthy. You don't think you worthy to be happy.
No, but I'm saying
you keep staying and thinking somebody gonna change.
Yes, but if you're there and this person, you're dependent on this person. Okay, you're gonna begin these things become self-doubt, right? You're dependent on this person, so you're gonna compromise and sacrifice yourself. Mm-hmm. So you start believing the things that you have been repeatedly told. And the only way you can get out that cycle is to kind of find a way to say, okay, how do you focus on yourself when you're trapped in a situation where you're dependent on this person? And what this person is an enabler.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, I think to that point, that might be a self-esteem thing or a self-worth thing also, because you don't believe that you can do it on your own. You believe that you need that person. You are dependent on them. And so in that case, yeah, it can be a self-worth thing. But I think often we're just repeating patterns that we have been exposed to all our lives. A lot of times, our primary relationships, our parents are engaged in the same loop. And this is the way that we learn to interact with people. Or maybe it's not our parents, but it's other really important, formative people in our lives who we've been shaped by. And this is how we engage with folks, but we never learn a new way of interacting with folks, or of letting go of issues so that we can take care of ourselves. We're so focused on saving face. We're so focused on being heard. We're so focused on being right. And we're not focused on withdrawing and taking care of ourselves, even if the other person thinks that they're right, or even if the other person has the wrong impression.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because sometimes you see the situation where people get caught up, just like you were saying, and they feel like that they can't do anything themselves without having somebody to assist them. Because you would be surprised at what you can do by yourself. I would never say I don't need no man, and I would never say I don't need anybody, because I do. But I don't feel that I can't do something on my own, or a step. You got to learn how to just step on out there in faith and do what you need to do. If you fall, you get up again and you try again, rather than put yourself in a situation that you feel you can't do it unless somebody's there to help you do it or something. Because you could be surprised what you could do. Because there's always somebody there to help you.
Yeah, but it's always based on fear, right? Just like Charmin said, if you don't know no better, if you're not taught any better, you don't take the opportunity to seek and receive other possibilities and other options that are out there. How do you know that there is change out there? How do you know that there's another way to live?
Yeah.
Another way to expect, another way to love.
Yeah, and if you've never seen it before, how do you know it's out there either? And look, there are people who are able to claw their way out of situations, and you're like, dang, how did you do that? Right? You didn't have the resources, you didn't have people around you supporting you, you didn't have, you didn't see anybody doing this. How did you do this? Those people do exist, but more often people are weighed down by the environment that they have been put in, the lack of resources that they have, the unhealthy system that they have been raised in, or family that they have been raised in. It's a lot to overcome.
Yes.
I know, but don't you think sometimes do your brain, sometimes like the brain will say to you, like, well, I use my own brain. I can't talk about somebody else's brain. I use my own brain. But like sometimes it just comes to the point, like you just get sick and tired. And when you get sick and tired, then that's when you're gonna move and do something, because now the brain is telling you, look, I've had enough.
It's an out-of-body experience.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Doesn't the brain like get to that point where you are sick and tired, or even sick and tired of that person or whatever it is, or sick and tired of the situation or whatever it is, that you just say enough is enough?
Yes, I mean that can go good and that can go bad, right? This Gypsy Rose character, right? She discovered that she was being abused, that her mother had Munchausen disease, I believe. I'm not following it that closely, and then ended up killing her. Right? That was her way out. Was enough is enough. I need to get out of this thing. So we don't want it to get to that point. But yeah, sometimes people do get to a point where they're like, I can't live this way anymore. And hopefully I see something better for myself, and not out of desperation. Because when it's out of desperation, then,
well, I think for the new year, I would like for people to think about loving themselves. Love yourself. Just start the new year of loving yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, no one else is going to love you. Right. So if we start off loving ourselves, then we'll start doing more to take care of ourselves, or do more to make sure that we are in a situation that we're going to make ourselves happy. Because can't no one else make you happy? You have to make yourself happy.
But you know what, Lottie? Sometimes individuals have to also identify when they need help. Right? They have to identify that there's an issue. They have to identify that this is not the norm. They have to identify that it's something different than the people that are around them or what they're experiencing. So once you're able to self-identify this issue, then hopefully they'll be able to be strong enough to kind of seek resources, ask the questions, and have the conversation with others who may be out there to help them. But once you don't identify you have a problem, you're not going to never get help.
Right. If you don't see that there's a problem.
Yeah, but let's don't always look at that we're having a problem.
No, but
let's don't say we're having a problem. Let's look at it how we want.
That's different. How do you
be a better person?
How do you feel? Okay, anything that's different. If you're feeling different, if you're not feeling love, then there's love out there. In what case? First, you got to identify where is the problem? Where's the issues? How can I get better? How can I change the situation that I'm in? First, you have to admit that you're in a situation before you can seek help for that situation.
That's what I'm saying. I don't look at it as you.
No, I'm not looking at it as a problem. I'm not a situation. I'm looking at it in general, right?
No, I'm just talking about an individual person. Like if the person don't have to be in no kind of situation. That's what I'm saying. They don't have to have a problem with anyone. I'm talking about the individual person. Think about how you can change your mindset to be a better person.
Right. But I'm saying,
how you going to start treating people differently, you know, because what I'm saying, you don't have to.
You guys are both right, by the way. You're both right.
Just respect your, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm feeling what both of you guys are saying. Yes, the more we can tune in to self-love and understand how we might be neglecting ourselves or prioritizing others over ourselves, the better off we can be. But often it can be challenging to even identify that if you don't see a problem. A lot of people believe that they're supposed to be sacrificing their own well-being. We moms go through this all the time. I'm not supposed to shower. I'm not supposed to have my nails done. I'm not supposed to have nice clothes. They're supposed to be the ones who are taken care of, and then I take care of myself last. But that's not how the world works. You've got to start with yourself, and the more you're taking care of yourself, the better off the people around you are going to be, and then that spreads out from them, and it spreads out from them to others. It starts from the inside, and then it moves its way out.
Well, I'm just saying, for the new year, our time is up. But for the new year, I'm saying let's take a look at ourselves. Yes. And how we can change ourselves and have a better mindset of how we're going to treat people around us, how we're going to treat individuals that we run into or whatever. That's what I'm saying. We need more love and harmony. That's what we need for 24. We're not going back to 23. We need love and harmony going forward. So I want to thank you for coming on tonight and giving me a little therapy, because, you know, I needed a therapy session.
I thank you for that.
It is a pleasure. I love coming and talking to you guys.
And we hope you will come back and see us again in 24. And we'll, Vanessa, have a better mindset when you come back.
No, I said I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again. And thank y'all for joining us tonight. And like I said, Happy New Year. And make sure you change your mindset, change what kind of person you are. Let's do love and harmony. We're going to love people this year. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Would you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Faith Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon.